Welcome to Your Good News. If it's fun or funny or pulls at your heartstrings, you'll find it here. We aim for the next half hour to show you stories that inspire or at least make you smile. Well, hopefully the Minnesota Wild will make us smile. We are in the midst of their Stanley Cup playoff run, which makes this story very fun. Now, remember the brilliant lights that blazed XL Energy Center on the St. Paul Arena? Well, at least one of them still has a place now in Alino Lake's front yard. Here's Morgan Wolf.
Never seen anything like this.
Something new in Lino Lakes has neighbors curious.
I think it adds some personality to the neighborhood, though. So I think it's really cool.
X marks the spot where hockey and history collide.
Basically, anybody in the state of Minnesota and probably even Wisconsin knows exactly what it is if you show it to somebody.
When Jonathan Dusing
I have to get this.
saw the iconic X from the XL Energy sign was being auctioned off for charity, he couldn't resist.
So I knew I wanted to do something special with it. I definitely wanted to put it on display at some point.
I was telling my friends about it, and they're like, oh, I saw that on social media.
Jonathan made some upgrades, and for every goal scored, it becomes a neighborhood celebration.
Put it at the exact angles of the X, so it looks like it's just shooting off the top of the X.
The Fog and Fire had so much use over the weekend that they actually ran out of gas.
That's a good problem to have, so I'm excited about that.
The fire and fog look like magic, but it was hard work plugging new life back into this landmark.
It's maybe 100 pounds, but it's like the most awkward shape to ever carry. So it always takes like 3 or 4 people to move it around.
Minnesota loyalty runs deep, especially when facing the team that was taken from them.
It's incredibly important, I think, to get rid of the stars.
He paid $21,000, by the way, for that. John says despite comments on social media believing his wife is against this, he says she's actually very supportive. The only problem now is he doesn't know which one of his 4 kids will be the lucky one to inherit it. Good luck picking that one out. Speaking of playoff runs, the Gophers women's gymnastic team recently competed in their first ever NCAA Final Four. They finished 4th, and while it wasn't the finish they were hoping for, it is still a huge deal for the team and those who used to be a part of it. Jessica Hart watched the championship with a pioneer in Gophers gymnastics.
Incredible air awareness.
The University of Minnesota gymnastics team.
Minnesota's still in this.
Keeps defying gravity.
Yeah, they've been calling them the Cinderella team.
A team who believed they could contend with the best.
And they needed that.
Yeah, nice. That was perfect.
A team Lori Kaiser's son has always backed.
It's exciting for the University of Minnesota. I mean, yeah, it's really exciting.
Lori was a Gopher gymnast in the 80s, the first to be a 3-time All-Big Ten first-team selection, a Minnesota Gymnastics Hall of Fame inductee, and a Hall of Famer at the U.
Everyone on the team is at a really high level, whereas early on, you might have a couple of stronger all-arounders.
Lori made history at Minnesota. Now she's watching her team make history.
Not really nervous, but it brings back memories, and I just, just want him not to bobble. I want him to stick it, I'm like, as if I can help them by leaning or, whatever.
The Gophers placed 4th in the nation, a program best.
I'm proud for all the girls, but I'm really Minnesota proud. I mean, just listening to Jenny Roethlisberger announcing and doing such a great job, and yeah, obviously Minnesota representing in nationals, and now it's televised and everybody is aware. Whereas back in the day, it wasn't that way. But yeah, it's really nice to see Minnesota represented.
Represented on a national stage, where the Golden Gophers showed the country how far you can go if you believe.
Well, even though the Gophers didn't bring home that title, 2 other Minnesota girls did. Lily Peterson and Elle Miller they do compete, I should say, for the University of Oklahoma. So now they are back-to-back national champions. From national to international sports, Jessie Diggins, the most decorated American cross-country skier, celebrated her career in front of a big crowd of fans in her hometown of St. Paul. This, of course, coming after she announced her retirement earlier this year. Joe McCoy has her story.
Hi, come on in.
When you are paying tribute to the best,
Love that.
you first have to look like the best.
She's just wow. I think she's really amazing.
A couple thousand people.
She's a huge inspiration.
Celebrating the illustrious career of the glitter queen and most decorated American cross-country skier of all time.
Just feel so inspired by her.
Jessie Diggins.
That's really the end goal here, was to grow the sport and inspire people and talk about the importance of taking care of yourself.
The Afton native hung up the skis a few weeks ago, following 90 World Cup podiums, 3 Tour de Ski victories, and 4 Olympic medals, including a bronze in Milan.
It truly isn't about winning, it's about going out there and challenging yourself and being part of a team and being part of something bigger than yourself.
Diggins, known for her endurance and grit, transformed American cross-country skiing and inspired the next generation.
I do downhill, but I swear I'm going to learn how to cross country now.
A tribute and send-off to a legend as she begins her next chapter.
I'm getting into speaking. I want to keep being an advocate and keep talking about things that are important to me and keep inspiring people.
I think she's been a really big inspiration of just like building the sport. I mean, like, look at all these people that are out here.
At Allianz Field, Joe McCoy, KARE 11 News.
Our own Alicia Lewis, who was at the Olympics, was the host for that ceremony this weekend. And because Joe McCoy has his finger on the pulse of the Olympics, one more story, a friendly showdown between local curlers and Olympians.
How many did they score? Let's go!
If you ever wondered how average Joes would stack up to Olympians, tonight we found out.
We're going to go out there, we're going to see if we can take him down.
Jonah Trossett
I started curling in 2018.
is 1/4 of the curling guys.
Yeah.
Tonight at the Frogtown Curling Club in St. Paul, they are going up against these guys.
Danny Casper, skip of the U.S. Olympic curling team.
Team Casper coming off their first Olympic Games in Milan versus guys who curl for fun.
Better take your point while you have it.
Let the trash talk commence.
Hopefully they had fun watching us on their couch last month, so yeah, that's all I gotta say.
If we win, I don't even know what we're going to do about it. I did make a hat that said, I witnessed the second miracle on ice, April 2nd, Frogtown Curling Club, so I'll probably wear that around. They just scored against us, it's a miracle!
This all coming together a few weeks back.
We shot our shot and messaged the Olympic curlers on TikTok and just said, hey, would you ever want to play Average Joes versus Olympians? And they said yes. I could not believe it.
Whoa!
More than just a good time, tonight they are curling for a cause, with all donations going to the nonprofit Every Meal, which fights child hunger.
Once we heard the word charity, it got a lot easier to say yes.
I'd always grown up making a joke that I would love to curl and shoot for the Olympics someday, and I started that dream much later than most actual Olympians, but this is like the coolest thing to be able to have this opportunity. I'm feeling great. We could just cut the broadcast and tell everybody we won after this if we end up stealing.
Joe asked the Olympians about their experience in Milan. They said it was everything that they had hoped for and more. And now they're even more motivated, they say, to win the gold next time around. By the way, the Olympians won that. Still ahead, helping and healing one bowl of soup at a time. And we're going to meet a man who has truly found his calling. Welcome back. We first told you about this quirky spot in St. Louis Park back in 2019. We even tracked down the man behind it, but he wouldn't reveal his identity, at least not publicly, for fear that he'd be told to stop. Fast forward to today. Not only is he willing to talk, he's expanding his efforts. Boyd Huppert has more on this unusual calling.
Take this and this.
What we see every day, we stop seeing. Take freeway noise barriers, no longer worthy of even our passing glances, unless you're Dave Gatzmer.
Very handy.
And a noise barrier calls you.
There we go.
A few years back,
ta-da,
Dave saw in his neighborhood more than a newly constructed wall.
I saw this new blank canvas.
The artist grabbed a few old phones and hung up.
And I put up 5.
Which have grown to a couple hundred, which led to a nickname Dave didn't seek, connecting him to the world's best-known street artist.
I've been coined Phone Banksy, which stuck. These are all prepped and ready to go.
Which, being spring, brings another crop.
Some lady found me on Facebook. She mailed me this. It's still in the box. Brand new. She really wants this up there.
Which
up it goes.
Is how he got here.
One of my friends came. This was his Halloween costume. He came as my wall.
Look around. It kind of fits.
Yeah, I'm a weirdo.
Unsure others would find this so amusing, Dave started by hanging phones anonymously.
I was sneaking over here at night doing it.
Until phone Banksy came to a revelation.
If you've got a pizza box or a ladder, people just let you go anywhere you want.
Now a phone company has assembled 20 feet above a bike trail with the blessings of both local and state officials and Louis' chauffeur.
We check out the phones like every day. Motorcycle, yeah, that's his favorite.
Dave,
R2D2 is pretty cool.
Also has
There's a piano phone.
Some faves.
The Sports Illustrated football phone.
A museum of both art and history.
Probably the oldest one.
Harkening back to a time when a mobile phone was a 10-foot cord.
iPhone 17.
Ever used a rotary phone before?
No.
Julian?
No, never.
And Delphine Munson.
A good black rotary.
Will never experience slamming one of these.
Just heavy.
On a telemarketer.
Boom! It just makes you feel better.
Like how they're all up there and they're not in a landfill somewhere.
Good.
People put their phones in there.
Because Dave's
donation point.
Collecting more.
It's been overflowing and there's been bags of phones.
After all, there's plenty more. Wall.
As long as they keep coming, I'll keep putting them up.
Boyd Hooper, KARE 11 News, St. Louis Park.
I actually had that football phone when I was a kid. Dave says he has never paid for a phone. All of them are donated. The noise barrier is located near Carpenter Park and St. Louis Park. You can find more information on Dave in the print version of this story on KARE11.com. Well, loneliness and social isolation are widespread problems, with even a former U.S. Surgeon General declaring it an epidemic in our country. A Bloomington man, though, is doing his part to help people feel less lonely through soup. Heidi Wigdahl shows us how in this week's Behind the Business.
Sometimes an idea just needs the right ingredients to become a reality.
All right.
Jalen Lyles cooked up the idea of a new business in 2025.
When I first moved here to Minnesota a few years ago, I didn't realize how diverse it was going to be. I really fell in love with the idea of honoring those communities through food in some capacity. So I have a mung soup, I have a Somali soup.
And a Minnesota wild rice chowder.
Just one of those dishes that brings a lot of comfort to people.
Beyond filling a gap in the market with his homemade soups, Jalen realized people were hungry for connection.
Pretty much every culture has a soup.
The Gathered Table not only serves soups, but serious ways to connect.
We are here at Mount Hope Lutheran Church here in Bloomington.
Jalen cooks here, and it's also where he'll be hosting the Gathered Table's quarterly community event in May.
So we're so connected on our phones and digitally and have these spaces, and we're starting to lose a lot of different third spaces for a lot of people to gather around.
The events focus on 5 pillars for community building, creating spaces where people from different backgrounds can connect.
Now it's starting to get nice and creamy here.
They served more than 600 cups of soup in February for free.
Just with everything that was going on with Metro Surge, etc., I felt empowered to do something for our community in some capacity.
And every month, people can nominate a neighbor to honor to receive a free quart of soup.
When I started this business, I wanted it to be more than just myself, more than just the business. I wanted to build it with the community, not for just the community.
For Jalen, it's a recipe worth sharing. In Bloomington, Heidi Wigdahl, KARE 11 News.
Now you can order their soups online. The Great Gathering will take place on May 2nd at Mount Hope Lutheran Church, of course, there in Bloomington. Well, back to sports for a minute, this time on the high school level. John Hayes just wrapped up his second season as head coach of the St. Louis Park girls basketball team. The Orioles finished 13-15 this year. You could argue their biggest win of the season, however, did not come in a game, but rather in a practice. Here's Will Hall.
Here we go, Wolves!
If you ever need to find Lucas Dean,
yeah, nice pass. Yeah!
just look in the gym.
Woo! Very serious, he's in the gym all the time. I'd say he's a gym rat. Drive!
Inside this gym at Hopkins High School.
In. Yeah, sports have always been his superpower, I'd say.
Lucas's super play powers the Courage Kenny Junior Rolling Timberwolves on the court at the National Conference Wheelchair Basketball Tournament, where his mom Karen watches him compete.
And his real love has been basketball. Yeah.
Back in middle school, Lucas shared that love for the sport with someone else, which set the wheels of fate in motion.
John Hayes, who is the head coach at St. Louis Park, was also Lucas's middle school teacher, and they have a shared love of basketball.
Elbows under the ball, and I have good form.
And as I took over the program here in St. Louis Park, he was moving on to high school as a 9th grader, and I thought, hey, we need this kid a part of our program.
Now in his second year as head coach, Hayes still has Lucas right by his side as student manager.
We get to play in front of fans on our home court, practice at our high school, and Lucas doesn't always have that opportunity. And seeing the joy that it brings to him, I love seeing that.
He's just very committed also to making sure that Lucas's sport is represented.
Not just represented, but experienced.
One of their favorite practices is when we play wheelchair basketball.
Together with Courage Kenny, Coach Hayes and Lucas are putting the team in Lucas's seat, where they're learning what makes his superpower so impressive.
Seeing our adaptive programs kind of blend with high school athletics that are taking place in Minnesota is just everything.
I can show what I know about the game, and since they're trying wheelchair basketball, they can know how I play the game too. Two different perspectives.
The perspective to see how sports and community,
I mean, the St. Louis Park community has been everything to us.
Can open a world of opportunity.
It keeps things in perspective for both myself as a coach. At the end of the day, we're just playing basketball, and also for our players, that we have a lot of good things going on here.
In St. Louis Park, Will Hall, KARE 11 Sports.
Still to come, we're going to meet a couple of men making a difference just by doing their jobs. Welcome back. How many people can say they truly love their job? If you can, that is a blessing. And in the city of Jackson, Georgia, there's a man who has been showing up to work for more than a half century. He just turned 90 years old, and after 54 years on the job, he's still not ready to slow down. Caitlin Ross has the story of Mr. Clemmy Adams.
On Jackson Square, the work is steady and familiar.
On the weekend, I like to come by and see the work I've done. It looked good and paper picked up, and it looked nice to me.
That attention to detail has shaped this space for decades.
My job is important to me because when I wake up that morning, I wake up to get up, looking forward to coming to work. There's peace over here.
For 54 years, Mr. Clemmy Adams has started his days the same way, ready to get to work. Now, at 90 years old, that routine has not changed.
Understanding the value of commitment. You know, when you're hired to do a thing, that you do it to the best of your ability. He's committed to that place of excellence. If you walk around our square, you'll see it because his footprints, his handprints are all over the cleanliness of our cities.
Mayor Carlos Duffy says you can see his work in every corner of the square, and his history with the city goes back generations.
March the 1st, 1972 is when that was his start date. And so you think about that, right? That's a year before I was born.
More than 5 decades later, he's still here, still showing up, ready to do the job right.
The job is what you make out of them. You can make them good, you can make them bad, and I always try to make mine good.
Caitlin says Clemmy asked the mayor if he could stay on the job, and the mayor told him, "Stay as long as you want. I would never get rid of you." Now to another man making a difference on the job, this time in Michigan. Now, we don't have them here, but Meijer stores are an institution in Michigan. And Jose Anleo may just be their heart, although he would tell you he's not doing anything special. But as Riley Mack explains, everyone who walks through the doors of the Meijer on Alpine Avenue would disagree.
Hello, how are you? Buenas noches.
If a smile can really open doors.
Hello, how are you? Hi.
It's no wonder Jose and Leo
Laura
ended up here.
She's Laura. How are you today, guys? Hi, lady. Have a good night. Thank you. Que le vaya muy bien. Wonderful coming both. How are you? I am a greeter from Meyer Alpine number 20, and I am so excited to come here and do my job. I got the car, sir. Thanks so much. Have a great night. See ya. The people say hi and bye with a big smile, and I do the same, you know.
And it brightens your day?
Yes, for sure.
Like most good things in life.
Good night. Thank you.
One day, Jose just appeared.
You actually showed up here with your resume and said, hire me.
Yes, I come here, knock the door. How are you? Nice to see you. My name is Jose. I want to work here. I like the position of greeter, and I got it.
That's awesome.
Yes, I am so happy for that. Believe me.
The feeling was mutual.
Oh, the customers rave about Jose.
For Kate Macmillan.
I'm the store director of the Alpine Meyer. I think the most common phrase I hear from our customer base is, I love Jose. When do we get to see Jose again? I can't wait to see Jose.
Always nice to see you.
One of the most positive, kind-hearted people you will ever meet.
Hi, how are you, ladies?
But long before he made a living out of saying hello.
Hello, how are you? Hi.
He had to say goodbye.
I born in Guatemala.
When did you move over to Michigan?
The hardest part of chasing the American dream.
I moved in 2003.
Was leaving his other dream.
My 6 kids stay in Guatemala.
Behind.
For 1 year, I was alone. And I talked to my kids, and believe me, it was incredible when I talked to my kids. My heart broken in pieces, more when I talked to I talked to the baby. When I talked to Luz Maria, she told me, I need you, Pop.
He came here to find work and build a better life for his family, even if it meant missing them.
My kids do the same. Dad, I miss you. I need to see you. And well, one day was 28th of February of 2004, and I am so happy because all together again.
The man who once felt so far from home.
Buenas noches.
Now makes sure no one else does.
I make a lot of friends. Hey, here is the boy. How are you?
Does it feel like you're where you're supposed to be?
Yes, for sure. I love it, yes.
I think he's just one of a kind.
Hello, lady. How are you? Nice to see you. Good, thank you.
He just brings that brightness to the building.
Buenas noches. ¿Cómo está? Muy bien, gracias.
America once opened a door for Jose.
Hey, Nemia, how are you?
Now.
Bye. Have a good evening. Thank you.
He opens one back.
Hello, how are you? Hi. Hello. Hi, little missus. How are you tonight? Hello. Hola. Hi.
Well, that's all for your good news. We do hope this half hour gave you a little bit of joy today. And until we see you again, have an excellent week, friends.